Let's bring Jason Jones into the conversation.
Wasn't Jason a history major?
African American Studies major.
Well, I mean, there's another clip of he was headed to the trademark. We're talking about JFK because why wouldn't we be, Jason?
The King's lost. That's what we're talking about.
He was headed to the trademark, and like it's almost like they make a point to show how black people reacted to JFK's death, because like he was the one who was supposed to fix everything back in 1963, and they always show black people reacting to JFK's death. And of course, it was all at the trademark. It was all the help. It's like the waiters and the cooks and all this. It's like, so no one else, just the waiter, huh? All right.
That's almost
all right.
Nah.
So you're a media guy. Have you ever watched the Walter Cronkite clip of him announcing JFK's assassination?
I'm pretty sure I've seen it at some point. I mean, it's not like in my top 10 highlights of things I remember watching, but okay. I'm sure at some point I had to have seen, the announcement.
Yeah, it's ingrained in my head. I find that to be an incredible piece of media. All right, let's officially welcome in our man, Jason Jones of The Athletic. Jay, this day really spiraled out of control.
Yeah, I don't know what I walked into. I was going to tell Kenny I like the message on the hoodie, but the color combination is disgusting.
Well, did you buy it for the message or the color?
The message first, and the color helped.
Okay.
I didn't know you were such a big Oregon State fan, man. So hey.
I started the show, Jay told me, like, oh man, I'm not super sure about I'm a little uneasy about the Kings. Like from what we've seen of them this year, there's just a couple of things that I'm not comfortable with. And man, that spiraled into like 2 hours and 45 minutes of trade Harrison Barnes. Mike ran a soft ass training camp. Like it got weird, man.
You mean to tell me that video of him yelling at Malik Monk didn't change everyone's mind? Because there's no way that could have possibly been, prepared. Let me shut up. All I know is that you can't say that when people were like, look at what a great coach he is. He yelled at Malik and they released it. Like, okay, calm down. He yelled at Malik. Guys get yelled at, but now he's a whatever. Whatever.
Just weird vibes following a loss to the New Orleans Pelicans last night at the Golden One Center.
Yeah, but I mean, you want to give up 127, 130. I mean, hey, I was told all last year it didn't matter. Hey,
well,
and the thing is, defensively, you got two. I've said, you see why the pairing. Either you get a defensive anchor and let Sabonis play 4, which I don't know if you could. I mean, you don't, or you get like that rangy guy to go next. You got to do something maybe to help defensively. I don't know, but I mean, to me, they're not that. They don't. When I watch them, they're not drastically different from last year. I mean, I think De'Aaron's great, but hey, like a team that plays that way when the threes aren't falling, I just kind of, I also do believe that the other teams are also, I think the playing field is much more jumbled right now too. So
how do you feel about the Kings? I know you kind of just spoke on it, but there's a lot of people with a lot of angst, and I'm like, they're fine. Can they be better? Sure, they can be better. Do you want them to improve? Sure, absolutely. But I don't. A lot of people are upset, from last night, and we'll talk about some of the reasons why subconsciously there's an issue. But I look at the Kings, I was like, they just lost the game last night. They're all right.
I think the same thing I thought a month or two ago. They could be anywhere from 3 to 7. I mean, if you're going to let last night be your reason to panic, I mean, oh well, let's go ahead and stop watching basketball. I mean, teams lose games, and hey, Brandon Ingram's pretty good. Zion Williamson is pretty good. I know both of those guys are guys that have been injured a lot, but I mean, that's a pretty talented team over there in New Orleans. So there's no shame in losing to them. I mean, maybe the fact that it was part of the tournament has everyone in such angst. Maybe there were people really looking forward to going to Vegas. And to me, that's probably the greatest thing Adam Silver's done with this whole thing. I still can't get myself worked up to be like, oh my God, a team won or lost. But some of these players clearly want that 500K. And you see a lot of fans really like upset.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably part of it. There was maybe some subconscious thinking that you win this game, you go to the semis instead of saying, okay, you lost a game in December.
Which is cool in my opinion. Like I would want people and players to, if I'm Adam Silver, obviously, to take this seriously, to get emotionally invested in it, and maybe not think that everything is bad for the season, but be upset that, oh man, we're knocked out of the tournament now. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I mean, how long have we been saying we wish the guys cared before Christmas?
Yeah.
Or the way it got the last couple of years, cared before the All-Star break. I mean, it got to a point where guys are like, hey, if I just played March and April, I think I'll be okay. So, I mean, I think that's maybe part of the subconscious frustration is just that. And plus, New Orleans has beaten them 3 times.
I think there's one other reason that you didn't mention. It's what happened about 20 minutes before tip.
Oh,
Tyrese and Indiana punch their ticket to Las Vegas.
And then you start getting all the stuff on the internet.
What if they
put them together?
Oh
yeah. The Kings. Tyrese would not be Tyrese, and De'Aaron would not be De'Aaron if they were playing together. I mean, I think I don't understand why. But 2 seasons later, we're still having this discussion
because they weren't outside. They don't know. It
was like I saw that. I think it was the 4-letter network ESPN put that up. What if this combo was together? They would not be averaging 30 and 30 in like. They would not be. It wouldn't. It's just like it's common sense basketball.
People act like they were the Splash Bros or something. Like they were shooting threes all the time.
Yeah, it is. It is just baffling to me. It's like you do realize the way that was set up. One of them was going to get traded. I think once you saw how good Tyrese was as a rookie, you said, okay, it sounds great, but one of these guys got to go. And De'Aaron already had the extension. It made sense. And then around the league, in terms of trade talk, you want the guy on the lower contract.
Well,
it's not crazy, but yeah. Don't let Hey, Buddy Hield was hitting big shots too. Now no one's complaining about what if you kept Buddy.
No, we're not.
No, that literally no one's ever complained about that.
I mean, I feel a way about that. I mean, Buddy was hitting threes down the stretch, and no one's saying, well, what if they kept? I didn't see any things on the internet about the Buddy, De'Aaron combo staying together.
Are you demanding we be more upset about Buddy not being here?
We might as well if we're going to be ridiculous. Let's just go ahead and be upset that hey, why not?
That's just state for the record.
Let's just say that the way when I do glance at social media for people's opinions, let's just say they should have kept Tyrese and Buddy and get rid of Sabonis and Harrison. Get rid of both of them. Just why not? Because from what way it looks like everyone thinks it's all Harrison Barnes' fault, which is funny to me. But
that's the other thing.
I want to get to that too, but I forgot to mention this is my fault. Something you missed because you were at the game, and I don't know if you heard it any other place, but did you hear Chris Haynes report that contract talks have started with Fox?
No, I didn't. But that's not really a huge deal. I mean, it's the.
So what he said was he reported it. He said the Kings. Oh, I want to make sure I got it right, but I think he said the Kings went to De'Aaron's people with a contract extension, a 2-year, $100-something million contract extension, and the King or the Fox and them declined because they're holding out for a supermax, and he made clear to say all of it was done in good faith. The Kings offered because they felt like they had to, but they weren't necessarily expecting him to accept.
Right. That's formality,
right? They weren't expecting him to accept, and the King, or excuse me, Clutch and De'Aaron declined in good faith because business-wise, it's better for them to see if they can get to supermax status, and they're both sides are like, we're just trying to be here. Like, this is just all formality type stuff. But
Right.
I thought that was interesting. Like that was like his first report of the day. Like, yeah, the Kings offered him an extension.
Yeah, but that's a formality. I mean, you offer it because you have to.
Mhm.
You decline it because you're supposed to. De'Aaron would be crazy to take a 2-year extension when he's going to have that 5-year. At that point, it might be 5 years, $400 million at this rate.
Yeah.
I mean, what did Jaylen Brown get? I mean, the
Uh,
numbers just go up.
Yeah.
So, De'Aaron will make another all-star team. He'll get all those supermax things locked in. I mean, it's I get that you have to kind of maybe report it, but it's not, earth-shattering things like, oh my God, De'Aaron didn't take the extension. He wants to leave.
mhm.
It's just, maybe, because I've heard stories in the league where a team will offer a deal to someone and they'll be like, wow, he really took it. And vice versa, where the player will go in expecting one thing and get offered a contract and go, oh my God, we got to sign this right away.
Mm.
And I think everyone knows what De'Aaron's value is. I think everyone knows De'Aaron's the best player on the team. And De'Aaron's going to get a supermax next time around.
As he should.
Mhm.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
That's what he is. Do you feel like this? You said you can see this team anywhere from, I think, 3 to 7. Is there something you think they could do, this roster can do, to be better?
This specific roster, it's more about consistency, really. I mean, this is you're not going to turn these guys into people who they aren't.
Right. Yeah.
So, in terms of it's just about consistency. Can you get a consistent 15 a night from Harrison? If the bar, say, is 15, 6 rebounds, shoot 40 from 3, can you count on that every night from a Harrison? Can you continue to expect Keegan to be a guy who can defend multiple positions? It's just about, consistency and improving, because there is no magic pill you're going to give the team and all of a sudden, whatever your deficiencies or issues are. Now, you're not going to turn Sabonis into Rudy Gobert in the paint. It's just not going to happen. So can you be solid in what you do? Can the coaching staff come up with something that they can execute consistently to continue to improve? Because I think, the one thing I think the Kings do know is they can't get to the postseason and say, okay, now it's time to play defense. That's not going to work. So you got to just continue to build and try to get better. I mean, I don't think there's like, short of trading for a superstar, third player type guy or all-star, you got what you got. And you got to make that work. I think, like I said, it really comes down to consistency.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what they have right now is good enough to obviously be a playoff team, be a good team. How much do you look at maybe the issues they had with the injuries so far this year through 20 games that they didn't really experience last year? How much of that do you think plays into the angst of what the fans are seeing, and maybe the inconsistent play that they may be having?
I don't think it's a humongous factor just because they haven't lost a guy for 10, 15 games. I mean, Trey, but no disrespect, but not having Trey is not like not having De'Aaron or Sabonis.
I'm sorry, Alex Lynn is missing.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, no disrespect to Alex either, but I don't think that's a major thing where they've gone like a long stretch without a top 7 guy.
Mhm.
You got other teams like, obviously Phoenix they've had a whole team all year. The Lakers haven't had a whole team all year. Jamal Murray missed a bunch of games. So you've got, the Warriors get between suspensions and injuries. They've missed, so, and like I said, it's still early. We've 20 something games in.
Not even
So,
that.
yeah. So I just think, I don't think that's the major issue. I just think you gotta, and plus people forget about this. They're not a surprise now. Teams are ready for them. There is no, wow, they're the cute story of the NBA. There is no more, we turn on the TV and no one talks about Sacramento. So you're a marked, like you think New Orleans wants to lose, the New Orleans knows they don't want to lose to the Kings. They know what's up. They know if it, you got to start thinking a bit long term. They know if it's tight and a tiebreaker, you would rather play the Kings in New Orleans. What if they end up 4-5? You'd rather play the Kings in New Orleans 4 times than play in Sacramento 4 times in a 7-game series. So I mean, it's going to be like that. And I think with the Kings, it's a matter of understanding where you are now. You're not a secret. You got 2 All-Stars, and teams are going to come at you, and they're going to make it tough. So I don't think that the injury thing is the main thing. I mean, some of the things I see were things that happened last year. They were just, De'Aaron was just like a Superman in the 4th quarter. And I don't think as great as he is, I don't think you want to depend on De'Aaron having to score 10, 15 points every 4th quarter.
It feels like Malik Monk has kind of taken the backup point guard role. We've seen Keon get minutes. We've seen Davion get nothing. Do you think that'll work long term? Malik Monk, obviously, you see a ton of him with Sacramento. You saw a ton of him with Los Angeles. As the primary backup point guard, will that work? He played 32 minutes last night. I think Keon played 8. He played 8 minutes last night. Yeah. And Davion didn't. Like, Davion's just out.
I mean, Malik, that's kind of the thing about Malik, is that they, as people say, there's a reason why he's best as a 6th man, because he can be kind of
Oh my God, we had a Jason Jones freeze. Wow. The first time ever. We had a Jason Jones freeze. Oh my goodness. I bet you they're going to announce the Shohei Ohtani signing or something. All right, Jason is unfrozen. He's
I'll be damned.
The first ever Jason Jones freeze in show history. Okay. Jason, congratulations. This is a big moment. I'm sorry. You were talking about Malik Monk.
Yeah, that must have been Malik, chiming in to make sure I shut up. But yeah, I think it just kind of sometimes it just kind of feels like they're still kind of finding their way. Like, like you said, Davion plays, Davion doesn't play. I like Malik as a scorer who can facilitate more than as a point guard, per se. But with this team, I think as long as Malik is attacking and aggressive, you take what you get now, and kind of the role of what he is, point guard, whatever. I don't think that matters. It's more so just the way he's playing. But yeah, it's just you would think that they would have had that kind of settled based off of last year, but it kind of says that after De'Aaron, Mike is still kind of searching for what exactly works. They don't, like I said, because what you don't want to do is having to play De'Aaron extended minutes all the time if you can help it. De'Aaron's young, he's all that, but still, I think you would rather be able to get 12 to 14 minutes from someone else at the point. Just to give De'Aaron a break, and De'Aaron does like stretches of the game where he can be in attack mode and not have to be the facilitator as well. So there's that too.
I was saying I'd go back to playing Davion a little bit more, but I also understand if Mike is looking at this situation, he doesn't really whatever Davion's doing or not doing isn't meshing with what he's trying to do. Keon, just to spell a couple minutes, and he wants to give Malik Monk 28 to 30 minutes a night. I'm for that as well. I think that's a good version of this Kings team as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's things I think you're still trying to figure out. So,
like I said, is that a problem? Because we talked about it a little bit, and there were people in the chat as well who felt like if you're still trying to work things out now, that's an issue. Do you think that's a problem?
I don't think it's necessarily an issue because it's like I said, this is a new team. You don't have, most of the guys are back, but you don't have that, Terrence Ross dynamic. Not Terrence Ross, Terrence Davis. Yeah. Got my Terrences mixed up, but but it is a different team, and just because you're a year older, and like I said, teams are going to play you differently. Teams know you better. So you are going to have to make some adjustments along the way. And it's not like they're trying to figure out the starting lineup. You're trying to figure out, you're looking at 6, 7, 8. And on a lot of teams, 7, 8, 9, 10 changes from game to game. Now, if they were trying to figure, if they were going through we're going to, say, for example, we can't decide if we're going to start Herter or we're going to start Monk or we're going to start this guy, we're going to start that guy at the 2, or we didn't know, people may not like Harrison, but if they were, doing a thing where it was Harrison one night and then, we're going to go big and play Trey, if that would be more of a concern to me. But I think they know their identity. And so a lot of it's going to be that boring coach talk of they got to play better.
Is HB just an easy target? Is that all this is at this point? Is he's just easy?
Oh, he's always going to be an easy target. He's not a loud guy, and he's not going to say a whole lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of, over the top expressions on the court, all that, so on and so forth. So yeah, whenever he plays bad, it's always going to be, even going back to his Warrior days, I always felt like whenever he played bad, it felt like it was 20 times worse from the public. Like the fact that people I know who in the Bay who still blame him for 2016 and don't blame Draymond. They still say if Harrison Barnes, I said Harrison was like the 5th best player on that team. Why was it his fault? I said he didn't get kicked out of he didn't get suspended for a clincher game. But I just think Harrison, and no matter what you say about Harrison, it's not going to bother. He's not going to, he's not going to go on a rant. He's not going to go off, So he's an easy target when he doesn't play well. But he also, what coaches would always tell me is that he also does things that don't show up in the box score. I know fans hate hearing that, but that's what coaches are going to tell you. He does things that don't always show up that make him valuable. But he's going to be a convenient target.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that is true. Just him being an easy target. There's also an aspect of he can't have games like he had last night. Like you're starting small forward, power forward, whatever the case may be. I know people don't like to hear this. Players don't like to hear this either. But you're making, $17 million a year. You can't give me 3 points and 4 rebounds, and me look at 4 rebounds and be like, well, you didn't give me 4 rebounds. like that's almost a problem in itself. Where I was like, well, he gave me 4 and not 1. Like, wait a minute, that's the bar now.
Yeah,
So,
but
like,
I mean,
it's got to be a little more than that.
Yeah, I agree. But in fairness to the salary part, I mean, he's not making a lot of money in today's NBA. I mean, he's making good money, but that's not like all. I think that's like, a
He's
decent
making
start.
fine. He's got a fine contract.
Yeah, he's got he's not broke or anything, but
He doesn't need a roommate. But he's not buying a private jet to fly around.
Right, yeah. But I understand kind of the angst of, come on, 4 points, 3 rebounds. And plus Harrison, he always starts the season by teasing, he always comes out the season looking like Superman. Like he won't miss the first 3 weeks of the season, and people kind of get lured into Harrison's going to average 20-something a game. No, what does the career tell you he's going to average? He's probably going to end up around there. So I just think, it's definitely right to expect more. And trust me, Harrison expects more of himself. But just the question is how much. That's why I said, is 15-6 kind of the? Would that be the?
Oh, I'd fall out and throw a parade if you got 15-6.
15-6 is pretty. That's up there.
That's ambitious.
Yeah, I think he's at 11.
Last year about what, 14, 15?
I think he had 15 last year.
I think he's at 11-3 right now. 11.
Yeah, now you got me curious. What did he average last year?
Oh, I can tell you. I'll look it up for you.
He might have been 15-5 last year.
We just had it. We had it pulled up earlier.
You ain't gonna we're not gonna bash my boy Harrison Barnes like that. Harrison's my buddy.
They're not bashing Harrison, but Harrison.
Oh no, we're definitely
15 and 4.5 last year.
Yeah, if he got to that this year, I mean,
he's at 11.
I think he should be doing more than 4.5. Like Kevin Huerter is almost getting 5 rebounds a night.
But outside of Sabonis, do they have a great rebounder?
That's why we need him to rebound.
So I mean, I almost can't. I'm like, you just got a gang rebound. But I mean, it's like that strained relationship where it's like, okay, do I want these guys crashing the boards or do I want these guys getting out and running? And some teams choose to remember those Heat teams. They chose to sacrifice boards some nights to get out. I mean, they were perennially one of the, you look at the numbers, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league because their attitude was no, Chris Bosh, you stay out there and hit the glass. LeBron and Wade, you take off. So I'm not saying that, I'm not calling, De'Aaron and Harrison, Bosh and LeBron, but I mean, you have to find the balance. And I wonder why, why does it have to be just Harrison to get, why is this all on Harrison?
He's just the easy target. That's all it is. Like,
I mean, we've seen Keegan struggle at times over the last year, and I know he's younger, he's a younger player, but there seems to be a much more understanding feel. Even when Kevin Huerter came out and struggled this year, there's going to be a much more understanding vibe about it.
The difference with that, though, is Kevin Huerter couldn't hit a shot, and he went and got on the boards. Kevin Huerter started scrapping and doing things like, my shot's falling, my shot is broke, but I'm not going to just disappear. And that's the frustration. Like, and Harrison, and the thing about it is Harrison doesn't do it all the time. Like, he has good games quietly. I'm just saying, like, when he has games like last night, like people that are very, very nice people, very well-mannered, like don't get up in arms, were texting me yesterday with Harrison Barnes' box score. And I was like, damn, I didn't even notice he played that way. I think two things can be equally true. He is an easy target, and he also can't give performance like he did.
I mean, you can't. 34. He played 34 minutes and got 4. So you said two things can be true. I'm not saying that everyone should be like, yeah, that's a good job, Harrison, 4 points. But I mean, I also think that he's, I mean, that sounded really jacked up, and I'm just saying we shouldn't give him a pat on the back for 4 points. But on the other hand, just kind of like, he's, like I said, I think every fan base has that one player that they're going, that no matter what, you're going to pick on. And now that, and for years it was Shivano. Shivano was gone for a while. Who are you going to be mad at? Harrison stepped right on into that role of the guy we're going to pick on all the time.
Kind of true.
It was Willie before.
Oh yeah, it was Will. Yeah.
Willie drove this fan base nuts.
Every time I wrote a Willie Cauley-Stein story, but here's the difference between all those guys. Willie was just, I don't know. The night he explained why he doesn't go for rebounds because he was going to hurt his hand again. I'm not jumping up out of rim like that. I just said, okay, it's
over.
I said, this is going to go over well. Yeah, this is going to go over real well when they read this. We drafted Kings fans like we drafted a defensive player who doesn't want to rebound.
Thinking about his future, doesn't want to hurt his hand.
Hey, he's an artist. You can't mess up your hands, on the rim.
Before we let you go, Jay, do you want to take this moment to announce your retirement, or did we back out of that? Are we going to keep going?
When did I retire?
Well, Jay, I mean, Jason had this big moment. He collaborated with JaVale McGee. I don't know what's possible. I don't know what's next. I mean, outside of a collab with Roman Reigns, I don't know what's next for Jay because he got.
I don't have much. I mean, I really don't have much left.
The mega powers were formed. The handshake took place.
Yeah, I did that interview. I was like, first off, JaVale, you got robbed in the dunk contest in 2012. That just so we get that out the way. That was all staged for Blake, But yeah, that was a fun one to write. I caught up with him when actually before they played the Lakers. Got him on the phone and talked about the doc he's got going on. Y'all check that out on his YouTube page. And I mean, I see this year I've talked to JaVale McGee, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. Can't tell me nothing. I don't need
Jade is next. I'm speaking in existence. Jade is next.
Yeah, I don't. I don't do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I think my girlfriend's gonna be rich as a black soul.
Jay's like, no, I ain't talking to Jade. That's too far.
I mean, my girlfriend's gonna say you can't meet any of the male wrestlers you like. You're gonna meet Rhea, Bianca, and Jade, and I'd be like, hey, this is the job. This is the job.
Not even Nia Jax either.
He's like, I'm like, this is the job. I have to talk to them. And she'll be like, okay, I hate you.
Hey, I love Rhea, dude. I
Oh,
love
Yeah.
her.
Shout out,
Oh
Rhea.
my God.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Rhea's one of the top 3 in the company, period.
I love
Yeah.
the era of I love this era of the long championship reign.
Oh yeah.
Like between Roman, Rhea, and I'm missing one. Gunther.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Gunther's had the IC title
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, he has. It's been almost a year and a half?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This
No,
reminds
He had,
me of
like,
my
the longest reign of all time or
Yeah.
something.
Or he passed the
yeah,
honky
he
tonk
beat the
man,
honky tonk man.
The
which
honky
is the most random. You look at the history of wrestling, like, why did he have
The
why
greatest intercontinental champion of all
why
time.
did Elvis impersonator keep the belt for over a year?
He's good. I'm good. He's bad.
We've worked the honky tonk man and JFK into this conversation with Jason.
Yeah,
Jones.
it's gone off the rails, clearly. But that's okay. You got to do that in December. Hey, you lose the in-season tournament game at home. You got to do something.
No.
You got to do something.
Jay, we appreciate you, my man. Thank you as
All right,
always.
y'all. Catch you next time.
Jason Jones of The Athletic. Check out all of his great work. He's got a lot. I mean, he talked to Barry Sanders recently. A lot of great stuff over in the culture section of The Athletic, including the team ranking the in-season courts.
Oh, who is number 1?
Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota was number 1.
Okay.
Los Angeles was number 2. The Lakers, excuse me.
I like Boston's the best.
Orlando, Utah. Let's see where Boston is. Well, this could take a while.
Oh, damn.
I'm down to 11.
Why they do that to your boys, Jesse?
Well,
I'm just glad Lucky Caraway's on our side.
Lucky
Toronto,
Caraway.
Dallas. I don't know if I'm gonna get to the Sacramento. Where's Sacramento tied for Sacramento tied for 15th.
Oh no. We're average. That'd be good for defense.
This looks more like a Minnesota Timberwolves court than a Sacramento Kings court, but I can't deny liking it on its own merits. Major demerit points for the distracting Golden One. Well,
how was that
stupid ad on the board?
Jason Jones. Another court where the colors make me think of the Cowboys.
I never thought of the Cowboys. Just like
here's
people said
Boston.
The Warriors. I never thought of the Warriors.
Boston is 20th. Jason Jones says the stripe down the middle makes me think Notre Dame should also be playing on this court.
Real quick, who's last? It's probably Dallas because they don't have a court. Remember, they couldn't get their court regulation, so they had to go with a regular court.
That's why Cuban sold. Silver told him, dude, you can't do this anymore.
Last, well, this isn't fun. It's the Pelicans.
Oh, no.
I see that I'm only reading Jason's lines. I see the Pelicans went with a color combo the late Macho Man Randy Savage would have worn in his old WWE days. If I was on Bourbon Street, I'd rock these colors with a drink in my hand with no problem.
It's a good one.
I guess on that note, we're going to go to 102.5.